All right, so just imagine, powering an entire country on renewable energy sources.
Ambitious, right?
But guess what? India's making it a reality with this project. It's absolutely massive, changing the game.
We're talking Khavda Renewable Energy Park in Gujarat.
Largest in the world, folks.
No small feat.
Why Khavda matters for the future of energy, for all of us.
Exactly. The challenges, the innovations, the global ripple effects.
So first things first, what is Khavda? Why all the buzz?
It's India's answer to, well, a global challenge, the need for clean energy.
And they're not messing around, are they?
Not at all. 500 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030, that's the goal.
Ambitious.
Khavda's the flagship project for this whole initiative.
So no small-scale experiment here.
Oh no, we're talking renewable energy giant.
Give us a sense of the scale. I mean, how big are we talking?
Picture this, a solar and wind farm, vast, covering an area roughly the size of Singapore.
Whoa, that's huge.
72,600 hectares? The number is mind-boggling.
And the power it'll generate?
30 gigawatts, planned capacity.
Enough to power, what, entire cities?
Think 45 million Indian households.
Other than some countries' populations?
It really puts it in perspective.
And it's not just size, right? Khavda's pushing the boundaries of technology, too.
Absolutely. They're utilizing a mix of solar and wind power, harnessing both. Brilliant.
Taking advantage of the Ran of Kutch, the region's unique conditions.
Abundant sunshine, strong winds, nature's gift, basically.
Speaking of the Ran of Kutch, it's a harsh desert environment, right?
It is. Extreme conditions. Building anything, there's a challenge.
So why there? Was it a gamble?
Strategic, actually. Think about it. Vast, open land, minimal existing infrastructure.
Less to work around?
Plus that ideal combination, strong winds and intense sun, perfect for renewable energy.
Nature's renewable energy hub.
Pretty much.
Okay, so location makes sense, but how do they harness all that power? What's the tech behind it?
Well, they're using bifacial solar panels, that's one thing.
Bifacial, meaning?
Catching sunlight from both sides. Imagine a regular panel, but it's also using the reflected light from the ground.
Both sides. That's clever. How much of a difference does that make?
Significant boost in efficiency. We're talking up to 15% more electricity compared to traditional panels.
Especially in the desert, that reflection must be intense.
Exactly, maximizing energy capture.
Now, even with all that power, managing it, the supply and demand, that must be a huge challenge.
Intermittency, it's the big question with renewables. What happens when the sun's down, winds calm?
Right, you can't just turn the sun back on.
They're tackling this head-on, massive battery storage systems at Khavda.
Basically, saving up that energy.
Storing excess energy during peak production, releasing it back when demand exceeds supply.
Like a giant energy savings account, I love it.
It's a smart approach.
And this is where the smart grid comes in, right?
Exactly. Khavda's not just a power plant, it's a whole interconnected system.
This smart grid ensures the electricity is distributed efficiently.
Minimizing loss, maximizing the impact of all that renewable energy.
So cutting-edge tech on a massive scale. Amazing.
It's truly impressive, a feat of engineering and vision.
Okay, all this tech is fascinating, but what does it mean for people, for India?
The impact is huge. Starting with jobs, thousands created already in Gujarat.
From construction to maintenance, all those roles?
And it's just the beginning. Once Khavda's fully operational, it'll be an economic engine for the region.
Attracting investments, new industries, the ripple effect.
Precisely. It's putting India on the map as a leader in green tech.
Long-term benefits for the economy. Can't argue with that.
And we can't forget the environmental impact, what this means for the planet.
Right, let's talk carbon emissions. What kind of difference will Khavda make?
Well, the goal is to reduce India's carbon emissions by a staggering 50 million tons annually.
50 million, that's hard to even grasp.
Imagine taking every single car in Denmark off the road, permanently.
That's the equivalent, wow, a huge step towards a cleaner future.
It's a significant contribution to global sustainability efforts.
All right, so we've talked about the benefits, the vision, but building the world's largest renewable energy park, especially in a tough environment like the Ran of Kutch, there must be challenges.
Oh, absolutely. Constructing something this massive in those conditions, it requires ingenuity.
Extreme temperatures, dust storms, a delicate ecosystem, all factors.
It's a balancing act, pushing the boundaries of what's possible while respecting the environment.
So how have they tackled those hurdles? What are some of the solutions they've come up with?
Well, necessity breeds innovation. They've developed some really creative solutions.
Give us some examples. What stands out?
One thing, they're using specially designed solar panels with nano-coatings.
Nano-coatings. For what?
These coatings, they actually repel dust.
Dust-repelling solar panels? Is that even possible?
It is. It's pretty amazing. The coatings are engineered at the nanoscale, creating a surface that dust just can't cling to.
Like a nonstick pan, but for solar panels.
Exactly. It keeps them cleaner, more efficient.
That's brilliant. What about maintaining a site this large in such a remote, harsh environment?
Another challenge, they've turned to technology for that as well, utilizing drones.
Drones? For what purpose?
Site monitoring and maintenance. Imagine instead of sending people into potentially dangerous conditions.
They're using drones to keep an eye on things.
Exactly. Drones can cover vast areas quickly, collect data on the panels and turbines, identify any potential problems.
So safer and more efficient. Makes sense.
It's a glimpse into the future of infrastructure management.
So Khavda's not just about powering a nation. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible with renewable energy technology.
It's a testament to human ingenuity and the possibilities of a clean energy future.
And those innovations, they have implications beyond Khavda, right?
Absolutely. They're setting a new standard for renewable energy projects globally, showing what can be achieved.
A ripple effect of innovation.
Exactly. Paving the way for a more sustainable future.
So Khavda, this groundbreaking project, it's more than just a power plant. It's a statement, a symbol of what's possible.
It's a bold step towards a cleaner, more sustainable future, and it's happening now.
And that's what's so exciting. It's not just a vision, it's a reality taking shape right before our eyes.
It's a testament to the power of human ingenuity and collaboration to tackle the challenges facing our planet.
And that's something worth celebrating and exploring further.
Absolutely, there's so much more to uncover, so many lessons to learn from Khavda's journey.
And that's exactly what we'll be doing in this deep dive. Stay tuned.
We'll be back after a short break. So where do we go from here? What can other countries learn from this, from India's success with Khavda?
Yeah, it's inspiring, no doubt, this massive project, the ambition. But how do we translate that success to other parts of the world? What are the key takeaways, the things we can learn and apply?
I think one big lesson is, setting those ambitious targets and then crucially backing them up with policies that make them happen.
Not just saying we want more renewable energy, but actually making it happen.
Right. India didn't just talk the talk. They set that concrete goal, 500 gigawatts by 2030. And then they created a roadmap to get there.
A plan, a strategy, not just wishful thinking.
Exactly. Streamlining the approval process for these projects, offering incentives for renewable energy development, encouraging public-private partnerships.
All those things, they matter.
It's about creating the right environment, the right conditions for this kind of growth.
And it sounds like Khavda is proof that those strategies can work. But India, they have some unique advantages, right? Abundant sunshine, vast stretches of land, a rapidly growing economy.
True. Those factors definitely play a role.
So can other countries, can they really replicate this model even if they don't have those same advantages?
That's a great question. And the answer is, well, it's complicated. Every country has its own, its own set of resources and challenges.
What works in one place might not work exactly the same way somewhere else.
Right. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
But there are some underlying principles, right? Things that can be adapted.
Absolutely. Setting those clear targets, creating supportive policies, fostering innovation.
These are the key ingredients, the recipe for success in any renewable energy transition. Now, we've talked about the economic benefits, the emissions reductions, the tech, but what about this social and environmental impact of a project like Khavda? I mean, are there any potential downsides, things we need to be mindful of?
You're right to bring that up. Any large-scale project like this, you have to plan carefully, execute it with a focus on minimizing any negative impacts.
On the people, on the environment.
Absolutely. And there are always going to be trade-offs, things to consider.
So with Khavda, have there been any specific concerns, any challenges that have come up?
Well, land use is always a big one. Building something this big, it does require a significant amount of land.
So how do you balance that, the need for land, with, the rights of local communities?
That's the key. It's about ensuring that the land acquisition process is fair, it's transparent, and it respects the rights of the people who live there.
It's not just about generating clean energy, it's about doing it the right way, in a way that benefits everyone.
Exactly. Sustainability, it's not just about emissions, it's about that holistic balance, environmental, social, and economic factor. All of them matter.
So with Khavda, what are some of the things they've done to address these concerns, to make sure that the project is sustainable in the broadest sense of the word?
They've taken a multifaceted approach, working closely with local communities, making sure they're part of the process.
Engagement, communication.
That's crucial, making sure residents are fairly compensated for any land that's acquired, and then providing job training, employment opportunities so the local community benefits economically.
Creating opportunities, not just taking something away.
Exactly. It's about integrating the project into the community, not imposing it from the outside.
Making it a win-win as much as possible.
And we're talking about some pretty wild stuff here, like solar panels that can generate power from both sides.
Yeah, wild.
A location that actually boosts their efficiency, and this super smart grid that keeps everything running smoothly.
Yeah, it's really impressive what they've done over there.
Those incredible solar panels, they're not your average rooftop panels. We're talking about bifacial panels, which basically means they have solar cells on both sides.
Yeah, so they can capture sunlight from above, obviously, but also sunlight that's reflected back up from the ground.
Okay, so they're basically getting a double dose of sunshine.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's pretty clever.
It is. It's pretty ingenious.
But why is that so important? What's the big advantage there?
Well, you have to consider where the park is located, right? The Rann of Kutch.
Right.
It's a region in India with a highly reflective white salt desert surface. So you've got a lot of light bouncing back up towards those bifacial panels, and that significantly increases their energy output.
So the location itself is actually boosting the efficiency of these panels.
Exactly.
It's like they found the perfect spot.
It really is.
I mean, studies show that in these kinds of environments, bifacial panels can generate 20 to 30% more energy.
Yeah, it's a huge increase, especially when you're talking about a project on this scale.
Wow, so this is more than just cool tech, right? It's about maximizing energy production, which is essential when you're trying to, power an entire nation.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't stop there, right? These panels are, they're also using some high-tech PERC cells, right?
Yeah, PERC stands for passive aided emitter and rear cell.
Okay.
And it's kind of a key innovation in solar cell design.
Gotcha.
What makes PERC cells special is that they're incredibly efficient at converting sunlight into electricity. Efficiencies can exceed 22%.
Okay, so we've got double-sided panels soaking up sunlight like sponges, and then we have these super efficient cells. It seems like they've thought of everything to squeeze out every last drop of energy.
Pretty much, but
But hold on, wouldn't dust be a major problem in a desert environment like this?
you're absolutely right. Dust accumulation could, really reduce the panel's efficiency.
Yeah.
But the engineers at Khavda have a solution for that.
Okay.
Nano-coatings.
Nano-coatings. Okay.
These coatings are applied to the panels, and they repel dust and dirt.
So it's kind of like giving the panels a self-cleaning mechanism?
Yeah, exactly.
That's really smart.
It is. It's a simple but effective solution.
Yeah, so less maintenance and more consistent energy production, which is crucial for a project of this magnitude.
For sure.
Okay, so these panels are clearly top of the line, but how do they actually capture all that sunlight throughout the day, as the sun moves across the sky?
Yeah, that's where the tracking systems come in.
Okay.
At Khavda, the panels are mounted on either single-axis or dual-axis tracking systems, which allows them to follow the sun's movement.
So they're constantly adjusting.
Yeah, they're constantly adjusting to make sure they're catching the most sunlight possible.
Gotcha. And how effective is that?
It's incredibly effective.
Okay.
These tracking systems, especially the dual-axis ones, can increase energy output by up to 25 to 35%.
Wow. Okay, that's a significant boost.
It is.
But what happens to all this energy once it's captured? How does it actually get from these high-tech panels to the people who need it?
Right. Well, that's where the grid connection comes in.
Okay.
And it's a fascinating process involving several steps.
Okay.
So the electricity generated by the panels, which is direct current or DC,
Right.
needs to be converted into alternating current or AC, which is what powers our homes and businesses.
So there's like a translation process involved?
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
Okay.
And that's where inverters come into play.
Inverters.
They act as the translators, converting the DC power from the panels into AC power that can be fed into the grid.
Okay, that makes sense. But then how does the electricity travel from the park, which is in a pretty remote area, to, let's say, a bustling city hundreds of miles away?
So after the conversion to AC, the electricity is sent to substations within the park.
Okay.
And these substations house transformers that step up the voltage of the electricity.
Why do they need to increase the voltage?
Well, higher voltage allows for more efficient long-distance transmission.
Oh.
It's kind of like sending the electricity on a high-speed express train.
Gotcha. So it's all about efficiency.
Exactly.
But these aren't just any substations, are they? I heard they have some pretty advanced capabilities.
Yeah, you're right. The substations at Khavda are they're equipped with smart grid capabilities.
Okay.
Which means they can monitor and control the flow of power in real time.
It sounds incredibly complex.
It is. It's a very sophisticated system.
How do they manage such a dynamic system?
Well, to handle the intermittency of solar power, the fact that the sun isn't always shining,
Right.
Opta incorporates large-scale battery energy storage systems.
Okay, what are those exactly?
They're essentially giant energy banks. During the day, when the sun is shining brightly, these batteries store any excess energy that's generated by the solar panels.
Okay.
And then, when the sun sets or demand spikes, they release that stored energy back into the grid, making sure there's a consistent and reliable power supply.
So it's like having a backup generator, but one that's powered by clean energy.
Yeah, exactly. That's a tough way to put it.
That's pretty amazing. And these batteries are just one part of a much larger system, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is just the beginning.
Wow.
There's a lot more to explore. How it kind of brings together these innovations to solve a very real challenge.
And what's that?
Meeting India's growing energy needs,
Right.
while also tackling climate change.
Right. India's energy demand is just skyrocketing.
It is.
And they've set some really ambitious targets for renewable energy.
They have.
Khavda seems like a huge step towards that.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. But integrating this much renewable energy into the grid, it's a bit of a delicate balancing act.
It is.
Yeah, and that's where things get even more interesting.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier those smart grid capabilities in the substations.
Right.
How do they actually help manage such a massive influx of solar energy?
Well, imagine trying to direct traffic during rush hour.
Okay.
In a megacity.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's like. Managing the flow of electricity on a grid.
Okay.
Especially with a huge amount of variable solar power coming in.
So how do they make sure the lights stay on, when a cloud passes over or the sun sets?
Right. Well, that's where Khavda's advanced grid management system really shines, I guess you could say.
Okay.
It uses artificial intelligence and machine learning
Wow.
to predict solar generation patterns.
So it's like having an energy forecaster,
Yeah, pretty much.
always kind of looking ahead
Yeah.
to anticipate changes.
Exactly. And it uses that information to adjust the flow of electricity throughout the grid, making sure that there's always a balance between supply and demand.
So it's constantly making adjustments.
It is. It's a very dynamic system.
And it can even coordinate with with other energy sources, right?
Yeah, that's right. Khavda is actually a hybrid renewable energy park.
Okay.
They've got wind farms there too.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just about managing solar energy, it's about orchestrating a whole symphony of renewable sources.
So it's like a renewable energy orchestra,
Exactly. Yeah, I like that.
all playing together.
Yeah, so for example, if the wind picks up as the sun goes down,
Right.
the system can ramp up the output from the wind turbines to compensate.
To kind of fill the gap.
Exactly. It's all about smoothing out those fluctuations to ensure a reliable supply of electricity.
Wow, it seems like they've thought of everything to make this system work seamlessly.
Well, they've certainly put a lot of thought into it,
They have.
and it seems to be working.
It does, but there's one piece I'm still curious about.
Okay.
Remember those massive battery storage systems you mentioned?
The best, yeah.
Right, the best. How do they fit into this grand scheme of energy management?
Right. So those battery systems, they're kind of like the safety net for the
The
grid.
safety net, okay.
During the day, when the sun is beaming,
Right.
they store that excess energy that's generated by the solar panels.
Okay.
And then when solar production dips,
Like in the evening?
yeah, like in the evening, or if there's a sudden cloud cover,
Yeah.
the batteries release their stored energy to fill the gap.
So it's like having a giant reserve tank
Yeah, you could think of it that way.
of clean energy just ready to go when needed.
Exactly. It's crucial for maintaining stability, especially as they scale up to these massive amounts of solar.
Right, and to efficiently transport all this electricity across long distances
Yeah.
to those major cities, industrial centers.
Right.
Khavda uses another pretty impressive technology,
They do?
HVDC transmission lines, right?
That's right. HVDC stands for high voltage direct current.
Okay, yeah, remind me what that stands for again?
Right, and it's a very efficient way to transport electricity over very long distances with minimal energy loss.
So it's like having an energy superhighway,
Yeah, it's a good analogy.
carrying that clean power from Khavda to the rest of India. Okay, this is blowing my mind. Like the scale of this project, the sophisticated technology, the intricate coordination.
It's pretty impressive.
So what does this all mean for the future of renewable energy?
Well, I think Khavda is a powerful demonstration that we can build massive, complex, incredibly efficient renewable energy systems
Okay.
that can power entire nations.
Hmm.
It's a game changer for India's energy landscape
Yeah.
and a beacon of hope for a cleaner future.
But is this just a one-off success story?
Oh.
Or can other countries learn from Khavda's example?
I mean, I think Khavda offers valuable lessons for the entire world, really.
In what way?
It proves that that ambitious renewable energy goals are achievable and that we have the technology and the know-how to make it happen.
Wow, this has been a really eye-opening journey.
It has.
Khavda is so much more than just a renewable energy park.
It is.
It's a symbol of innovation,
Yeah.
a model for sustainable development,
For sure.
and a source of inspiration for the world.
Is really just the beginning. It's sparked a wave of innovation in the field, and we're seeing some really promising developments on the horizon,
Like what?
especially when it comes to energy storage.
Okay, you're talking about those next generation batteries.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard a lot of buzz about solid state and flow batteries.
Right.
What makes them so special?
Well, imagine a world where batteries are not only more efficient,
Okay.
but also safer and longer lasting. That's the promise of solid state batteries.
Okay.
They use solid electrolytes instead of liquid ones,
Okay.
which makes them much less prone to overheating and fire hazards.
So not only could we could store more energy,
Right.
but we could do it more safely too.
Exactly. It's a win-win situation.
That's a game changer.
It is.
For all sorts of applications.
Absolutely. And then you have flow batteries,
All right.
which are particularly well suited for large-scale energy storage.
Okay.
Like we see at Khavda.
Okay.
They store energy in liquid electrolytes that can be easily scaled up to meet the needs of these huge projects.
So flow batteries could be the key to handling like even bigger swings in renewable energy generation.
Yeah, potentially.
As we move towards a grid powered primarily by sources like solar and wind.
That's the idea.
That's incredible.
And the innovations aren't limited to storage.
Okay.
We're also seeing exciting advancements in other areas like marine energy.
Marine energy.
Harnessing the power of ocean waves and tides. And then there's geothermal energy,
Right.
tapping into the heat beneath the Earth's surface.
Yeah.
And even more futuristic concepts like space-based solar power are gaining traction.
A space-based solar power. Okay, now that's something I have to hear more about.
Yeah, so imagine this.
Okay.
Satellites capturing the sun's energy in space where it's always shining,
Right.
and then beaming that energy back down to Earth.
Wow.
It sounds like science fiction,
It does.
but there are some serious minds working on making it a reality.
That's amazing to think about all the possibilities.
It is.
It seems like the future of energy is going to be incredibly diverse.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
with a whole range of technologies all kind of working together to create a truly sustainable system.
Exactly. We're not talking about replacing one dominant source with another.
Right.
It's about a portfolio of clean energy solutions
Yeah.
tailored to different needs and locations.
So it's not just about building more Khavdas.
Right.
It's about being smart
Yeah,
and adaptable in how we harness
absolutely.
and integrate these various renewable energy sources.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And that requires continued investment in research and development,
Sure.
supportive policies, and really a global commitment
It does.
to building a more sustainable future.
Absolutely.
Well, I think Khavda has shown us what's possible.
It has.
It's a powerful symbol of progress and a source of inspiration for the entire world.
I completely agree.
It's to all our listeners out there. We encourage you to continue exploring, stay curious, and never stop believing in the power of human innovation to solve the world's biggest challenges.
All said.
Thanks for joining us.